Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to City Skylines Parklife. I certainly hope you're having a wonderful day because I'm certainly excited to be back. We're here with the beautiful city and beautiful island chain of Nerdcrest, where things could be going better. People seem to have an issue with crime, which is fair enough. I think we need to get ourselves a bit of a police station, so let's go ahead and throw one in here. I'm thinking we'll put it right about there, which isn't quite central, but I think it's central enough that it'll pretty much do everything that it needs to do. Last time, or in the first part of the series, which is the same thing, but whichever way you want to put it, last time we... Well, apparently this time we're at a boom time, which is great news. We've unlocked transportation. We have another tile. We have tours as well, which I'm quite excited to get into. But we've also got a bunch of roads that I'm also really excited to use. But last time, we built all of this, which led to us becoming a bit of a boom town. And I'm also thinking that this time, we could probably go ahead and put in some fire safety, since that's also something we don't have, and that is something we are probably gonna want, as well as apparently a bit more in the way of commercial zoning. So let's go ahead and build up this way a little bit. Let's go 30 units to the north, 2 across, and 30 back down. And we're basically gonna rinse and repeat what we've been doing with the battery this entire time. Except this time I might go for a little bit of a different design, just in order to maybe change things up a bit, get a little bit of variety in here, and see what way traffic handles it as well, because that's going to be something we need to pay attention to. That's actually going to be something just in general we need to pay very close attention to, because the more I build here, the harder this is all going to be to eventually change, so we're gonna want to be very careful with exactly what I do here. But for the time being, let's see if we can come up with something that's gonna work maybe a little bit more long-term, I guess. So something that we can maybe use eventually as some kind of city center. So let's have 2 big squares here. And let's go up again with... Actually, what if we had like some kind of weird little roundabout thing here? That might be a terrible idea, but what if we did this kind of thing, right? And then we kind of go back and try and like get some kind of angle working here, where these roads will actually let me sort of have them cross over at, you know, some kind of angle here. So I'm trying to get, I kind of just want a straight like 45-degree angle here, if I possibly can, because then we could make some kind of diamond thing. I don't know. I might be getting a little bit carried away there. Let's just get rid of you, get rid of you, and get rid of you. We're going to go our usual 30. We're going to go our usual 2 and our 30 back down. We'll change the bit in the middle to an avenue, and we'll basically just continue doing what we're doing. There's no point getting overcomplicated until we have shed loads of cash with which to get overcomplicated. So that'll work for the time being. Let's go ahead and see what we can do with a road design here. So what I'm thinking is something like this, which basically comes in, you know, right up towards the main central bit, but then turns and comes back down. So we're sort of forcing all of our traffic off of this main road onto these back ones, which may or may not be a good idea. Probably isn't a good idea, if we're completely honest here. But what I also want to do is have some dead-end roads in there. Again, just to sort of push traffic in certain directions and sort of not have too many intersections on these roads here. Because this road is probably going to end up being... In fact, it is going to end up being an avenue. So not having too many intersections on that is probably going to be for the best. In fact, looking at this road as well, this road could probably be an avenue as well. So let's move the firehouse off of it and up to there. And let's just bring this road straight up and connect it there. Which I think looks kind of interesting. Zoning is going to be a little bit weird there, but I think it looks kind of interesting nonetheless. Now let's go ahead and just have zoning go to there and take all of that out. And let's go ahead and just do that as well. So that'll give traffic one way to sort of go up towards this new area. And then of course the main road through the middle is also going to be a way to get up there. Now what I'm thinking is we have a decent amount of industry over here. So let's just do, I think, commercial sort of along there and along there. And then I think through the middle like that as well. So commercial's basically going to border the main roads through that space. And I think the rest of it could honestly just be residential, which is going to be shielded from the main roads by all of the commercial zoning. And of course we have some room down here for some parks if we really want them, which in this case aren't necessarily going to be Parklife parks, but they're going to be, well, parks, if you get what I mean. So let's see here. Can we do something interesting with these? I'm not really sure if we can. I mean, technically speaking, we could turn this whole thing into some kind of park. I don't think we want to do that though. I mean, we could do schools actually. That is something we are going to need around here. So let's do we'll do an elementary school there, and we'll do another elementary school just up there to make sure that there's at least some kind of basic education. And we don't have a lot of money left, so let's just go ahead and get the water in here that we are absolutely going to need. So all the way up to there, and all the way up to there, and straight across. And apparently we're going to need to turn on all of the snapping stuff as well. We actually don't have that much money left either, so maybe we'll just give it a second to let some money generate a little bit there. And hopefully we can at least get most of the pipes in here. Like I said, you know, this is all going to be a bit of a work in progress, and I'm definitely trying to not get too carried away with myself. We need $1,200 to do that stretch of pipeline there, which we have, and we need $400 to do this stretch of pipeline just here, which we have. There we go. So we'll let that whole area build up. It should absolutely bring us in a decent amount of money. The issue, though, is that we are now in a bit of a pickle with power generation. So, do we want to take out a loan to fix this? I feel like we do. I also feel like we can pay off the initial loan because we might as well. And there we go. We'll get a wind turbine there, a wind turbine there, and a wind turbine there. And that should keep us covered for at least a little while. But what I will say is that I'm most curious about... Oh, hello. I'm not going to get a chance to say what I'm most curious about because we are running into some more issues. We need another water outlet. So let's just throw it right about there. Connect it up to everything else, and that should fix that problem. Now, what I'm most curious about, as I was saying, is what exactly traffic's going to do around here. Because first and foremost, I think it's going to be an idea to turn these bits of road back here into highways, just to stop anything from zoning on them. And then the roads in the middle are, well, at some point, they're going to need some grass. We are going to want to put some grass on those to stop vehicles from parking on them. And then maybe at some point, we're even going to want to turn those into highways. Possibly. Probably 2-lane highways, but highways nonetheless, which again is going to take some of the zoning out of the city. But the counter to that is that we could technically just have one giant park following that road the whole way through the city, so that might not be a terrible idea. Now, what I do want to look at, speaking of parks, is Linden Grounds here, which is very close to leveling up. We need 500 total visitors, and we need 220 is the entertainment value, which is currently 277. And the visitors are almost at 500. So Linden Grounds is going to level up to level 2 fairly soon, which is fantastic news. And I realize this area over here, these houses, well, they're very close to some industry. So let's maybe just clear out some industry from that spot and put in a little bit more commercial there, just as a bit of a shield between the houses and the factories. And there we go! Linden Grounds is level 2, which gives us some piers and a park chessboard, which I guess we might as well have some fun with. Let's see what we can do here. So the park chessboard is gonna be right there. And apparently we're not gonna have fun with it because it's huge. Never mind. Never mind. What do we got here? A sandbox and a sandbox and apparently a cannon. We have an old cannon and apparently we're also a busy town. Fair enough. 3,000 people. We have a bunch of policies. We have the fancy roads, which is fantastic news. We have some more buildings. We have a lot of things. We have the sightseeing bus depot as well. Speaking of sightseeing, we didn't actually do anything with that last time. So let's do a quick foot tour of the park here, just to make sure that people can, you know, enjoy the sights around the park. Interestingly, we can actually do a sightseeing tour of the city itself, which we may want to do at some point. I imagine a sightseeing tour just walking around the park is not going to be very exciting, but that's really all we can do right now. That's all we've got. That's really all we've got. So we'll not stress too much about that. Although we probably do want to stress about the recycling center because garbage processing is not very good right now. Let's get another one of those in there and let's go ahead and do these fancy roads. I'm thinking we're just going to do grass-lined here just to stop people from parking on them, since that's pretty much all I really want to do. So all the way up to there, we'll have it cross over like that and come all the way back down. And what I could even go ahead and do is use one of my own little custom assets, which isn't very, I mean, it's not very spectacular looking, but it does do the job that I want it to do, assuming it's activated, which it should be. There it is. A little parking lot. We can literally throw a small parking lot into this space, which, you know, it looks alright. It fills up the space kind of nicely. Looks a bit weird with the water tower in the middle, but there you go. Little parking lots up the middle there. They will, I'll be honest, they'll technically increase the land value. I know that's kind of cheating, but you have to admit, they kind of look the part, you know? They do kind of look the part, and that's kind of what we're going for here, so I think the parking lots, I think they're good. I think they can stay. They make the area just look a little bit better. And what we can even go ahead and do is something like put some grass down there just to make it look like this area is kind of, you know, supposed to be a little overgrown. Maybe put a tree there and another tree over there and some kind of tree there. Just to make it sort of look like this area is kind of designed to be like grass. I mean, we could even go so far as putting a fence in here if we really wanted to. Which, I'm going to be honest, I kind of want to. So something going to like there. And then if we turn on angle, we can technically go to there. And then we can technically go to there and straight across. So that looks really good. That looks really, I'm so pleased with that. Okay, we need to do that over here as well. So technically we go straight across and then straight up to there. Oh, look at this. Look at that. That's so good. Oh, I'm so pleased with that. I'm so pleased with that. This is Vanilla City Skylines. The fact that you can do this in Vanilla City Skylines is nuts. Also, the fact that the amusement park fence actually works really well as like sort of an industrial kind of thing for closing in water towers. Like, that's so good. That's so good. I love that. I really, really love that. Can I get some, like, trees in there? I totally can. I can totally get some trees in there just to make it look like a little bit of decoration, you know? It's like, hey, we've got water towers down our main road, but at least we tried to make them look nice. You know, we got some trees in there. We got some green in there. Oh, I'm so pleased with that. It's something so simple as well. It's something so simple, and I'm so pleased with it. Now, something we are running into an issue with is death. We don't have crematoriums, and we don't have a cemetery. So, we need a cemetery. Let's throw one, I'm thinking, right there. Because we might as well. And apparently we're also running into some issues with traffic in a few areas here. So, I think we need to start building some districts. Which, interestingly, you can build into parks. They actually overlap, which is kind of really... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. I did make a bit of a mistake there. We want to make sure we're using actual districts and not the park thing, so... Just be careful when you're doing that you don't accidentally, you know, do another park instead of a city district. But there we go. That's going to be the Hillside District. This over here is going to be its own district, and really all I'm interested in is traffic control policies, so I'm not too interested if some of my buildings fall outside of the district. I don't think we want this main road to technically be in any district though, so we'll do that kind of thing, and then we'll just sort of do the same thing here. So all the way around and up to the avenue. And I think the avenue should probably be exempt from district zoning as well. Just because if it isn't, traffic might sort of struggle to get around a little bit. And apparently we're having more power problems. Really? That's actually kind of surprising. I thought we'd be okay on that front, but evidently not. Anyway, we have thus far Meadow Heights, Hillside District, Empire Heights, and Franklin District. So let's go up to there with this. Let's just fix that ever so slightly. There we go. Tidy that up a bit. And then we need to do all of down here, which as far as I'm concerned, Umber Park is going to go to about there. And I think that looks pretty good. And then obviously, again, tidy that up along there, tidy it up along here. And I said this a couple of times in the first episode, but if you've never watched me play City Skylines before, there's a few things I like. Number one is fiddling around with parks. That is number one. Number two, possibly more important than the parks, is my districts have to look neat. They have to look neat. You can snap districts to roads for a reason. You know, they need to look neat. Otherwise, frankly, what's the point? You know? A neat district is a happy district. That's something I've never said before, and honestly, I'm probably never going to say again. Although that could go on a t-shirt. That could go on a t-shirt. A neat district is a happy district. The only thing is, people are going to think it's like a Hunger Games. Do people even care about the Hunger Games? I know it's not like a... I know the movies are done. I should point that out. I know the movies are kind of like, there's no more of them, I think. Unless they've announced like a spin-off one that I'm not aware of. But like, I feel like the Hunger Games had districts, unless I'm thinking of another movie, in which case I'm so out of touch with movies. I know that there's a Star Wars one out in like a week that I'm kind of excited for, but I don't think the internet allows me to be excited for. And that's kind of it. That's about my knowledge of movies. Anyway, we have our districts. Let's go ahead and just tidy them up a little bit. So we're gonna do the Old Town policy on Hillside. And we're gonna do Old Town policy on all these initial ones. Because I'm noticing traffic is sort of like going through them to get to other places. So we'll do Old Town on all of them, I guess. I guess you don't go into a district unless you're going to that district. which is kind of fair enough. Let's encourage biking down in Mill Park. And let's see what that does for traffic. It should technically push it all onto the main road and onto the avenue, which is kind of the goal here. That's kind of the goal. Hopefully it works out. I'm also thinking that this right here needs to be... I mean, technically that should probably be... Well, I guess that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Let's get that to be grass line just there. This one in the middle, I'm actually going to change these out for 6 lanes rather than just the 2, because again, we can have those be grass line to stop people from parking on them, which I really don't want them doing. And it gives us a few more options in terms of where traffic can go. You know, there's 1 lane or 2 lanes for going straight on. There's 1 dedicated to turning. It's hopefully just going to help with things a little bit. Anyway, power problems are still a thing. We could go for oil. We could actually go for an oil power plant in here. It is 50,000 and 1,920 per week. I think we're just going to stick with wind power for the time being. Wind power is serving us fairly well, if not incredibly well. It's definitely not serving us incredibly well, but it's doing all right. It is definitely doing all right. I just want to come back to this. Like, I love this. Other than the car that's sort of going into a sink. Oh, hello. Oh, we put it out. Fantastic. Yeah, so traffic, I think I can clearly see here, traffic is using the main road a little bit more, which is honestly both good and bad. It is good because it means it's not going to be backing up within districts. It's bad because it is probably going to back up on the main roads. But I don't think it's going to be a huge problem until we find ourselves with a lot more in the way of people. So I think we're okay for the time being. Speaking of a lot more though, I'm noticing we do have a fair bit of demand for industry. So let's go ahead and just deal with that. Let's turn on all of the guidelines. Let's go back to there a little bit. And it'll actually line up right there, which is perfect. So we'll do that. We'll take these out of here. I'm actually going to move those to a slightly better spot that's not going to be all too intrusive. So we'll do this kind of thing there. And then just run it. Oh, it can just run straight up the hill there. That's fine. There we go. So power is going to stay connected. And what we can do is go ahead and just expand industry to at least there, I think. And maybe up to there. And I think at this point we can maybe go ahead and throw some commercial into... I think into all of that space there. And up to there as well. I think that'll work. Now obviously we are going to need to actually expand this district here to make sure traffic, you know, does what it's told and does what it's told to do, you know, well. So there we go. We can tidy up this, of course, and get some water into those guys as well. I keep forgetting about that. And I think if you go back through... I think it was the most recent series. I think it was... Was that Green Cities? Was the most recent one? I actually don't remember what the most recent expansion was. I think it was Green Cities, but I kept forgetting water. Which is weird, because that's something that you never really forget, you know? You shouldn't really forget to put water in your city, but yet I did. Which, I don't know what that says about me, but I did it. I 100% did it. Anyway, let's see. Can I get more parking lots in here? I apparently can. Interesting. Can I get them to follow a nice pattern of some sort? So something like that. Oh, that actually works. That actually works perfectly. Okay. Let me just bulldoze all of those for a second. Because I want to figure out a good alternating pattern here. I don't know why I want it to alternate. I just kind of do. So we'll have it alternate back and forth like that. And we can actually go ahead and put another water tower right there on the corner, which of course, means I get to play with the fences again. So let's do that. Let's turn off everything except for the angle. And let's go in here and play with the fences a little bit. So it's going to come down to there. It's going to go straight across to there. And it's going to go to about there. And there. And unfortunately, I can't actually get them to connect together, which is really frustrating. But I cannot do that either. Again, kind of frustrating, but that works. And assuming I can break... There we go. Yeah, that kind of works. As long as I can get a tree into that weird corner, we're fine. There we go. That looks perfectly fine to me. Can we get some plants in there, please? Just to make it look a little bit overgrown. There we go. And I think we do need a tree there, and maybe something a little different. We'll do something like that. There we go. That looks alright to me. Now, I did see sewage treatments getting down there a little bit. I'm a little concerned about that. I am definitely a little concerned about sewage treatment. Hopefully we can get something a little more efficient. I'd like this, but we need 15,000 people for it. So I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. I don't think we're getting 15,000 people anytime soon. But what we could do is we could start looking at getting another tile. I want this one, and I want this one. Because I'm looking at these areas and I'm thinking, and I think I mentioned this in the first episode, that we could totally do like a zoo right here on the end of the island. But I'm also thinking, like, what if we just did a zoo on this island? What if this entire island was a park? You know what I mean? Like, what if we did that? Like a nature reserve or a park. Like a nature reserve sounds cool to me. Obviously, this doesn't have mountains or anything, but... I mean, it has an elephant on a beach, so... It also has another smaller elephant just off of the beach. So I think that could be really cool. Especially since you can actually use the... I mean, you've got the nature reserve path, but if we use, for example, the... I mean, we'll say nature reserve. I think we can use this as a bridge. Yeah, we totally can. So we could totally have a nature reserve bridge that comes the whole way across, and you can only access that island by foot. I think that would be really, really cool. I really do. I think that'd be really, really cool to do. I'm also realizing that now that we've expanded down this way, we can actually expand the residential area here, which is fantastic news because it means that we're not limited by the bounds of the city anymore. So we'll do that, and we'll go ahead and just build down the way we have been doing, which apparently has done some weird things with zoning there in a few places. That's a bit strange. I wonder if we were to update these roads, would that fix it? Yeah, it does. Okay, probably gonna need to just update a few of these roads to make sure we fill up the zoning there, which looks like we're gonna need to do here as well. So let's just do all of that, and I think we're good at that point. And I guess what we can do is just fill all of that up with residential zoning. And we'll just have a whole bunch of people living down there. Obviously, gonna need a few more pipes though, so let's bring those down onto the lower road. And in terms of electricity, honestly, I think we're gonna need to go oil. I think it's time. I hate to do it because I love the island and I do kind of like the idea of being all about the environment here, but I don't think we have a choice. I think this is all we can do. Now, one thing I do actually realize about doing something like a nature reserve is that technically we are going to need a road over here. And apparently we're also a big town, which is fantastic. We get the blimp, the metro. Oh, the metro. How I love the metro. We also got high density stuff, which is fantastic. Incineration plant, fantastic. Hot air balloon tours. Oh, I'm excited about that. But what we need to do if we want to do a park is obviously place the entrance, and the entrance actually has to be on a road. So, what if we were to go, say, I guess, what way did we do this? I've kind of forgotten. We went 10 there, and that's on the inside. Now, the inside turn here is this one, so technically there. All right. Basically, what I'm thinking is we're going to continue with this sort of backbone of the city thing. I don't know if this is going to be something we continue with permanently, but we'll continue with it for the time being. Because what I'm thinking we're going to have to do here is bring this all the way over to like the end here, figure out some kind of coastal road thing, and then I want to put the entrance to a nature reserve. I really want to do a nature reserve over there, so let's get a road for it, and we'll figure out how we're connecting to that later. So that's our road. And I guess not a zoo, definitely a nature reserve. So the entrance to this is main gate and small gate. So that's our main gate there. All right, so this is Briar Rose Nature Reserve. Tents and tents and tents and campfires and campfires. All right, national park. Let's figure it out, I guess. I mean, we're probably going to want the path with decorations. And we're probably going to want it to sort of go there. And then sort of raise up, I guess. Let's see if we can make this just like a really nice, even bridge. I'm not really sure what way we're going to do that. Let's see. If it goes straight to there, and we lower it down, is that even, or is that just going to look a bit weird? That's actually quite even. That's not bad. I think it slopes down a little bit, but that's fine. We can technically fix that if we do this sort of thing. So take all of that out, and I think if we do that, it is a little better looking. So that looks fine. That's going to be our connection to the island. And we actually don't need fences around this, which is great. I think we will probably have some fences over here, just because this is technically going to be a little bit of an enclosed area for the nature reserve. So let's see what we can do with that. Can we bring fences off of here? We actually can. Fantastic. So we want a fence going there, and we want a fence going there. Would have been nice if I got this thing central, but apparently I'm not going to be doing that. So I wonder if I could maybe... You know what? Let's see here. If we go there and we go there, we can bulldoze everything. I did not want to do that. We can do this, bulldoze and bulldoze. Get rid of the fences again. And let's see if we can make something kind of even here. So that's 10 units and that's 10 units. And maybe we just go down to the water. Maybe that's all we need to do. Just go straight down to the water, and everything behind that fence is technically a nature reserve. I guess. I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it at least, so... Maybe we put some trees in there, maybe we put some rocks in there, because we could totally do some rocks down at the end of the fence just to make it look a little... You know, actually, like, not secure, but... Like it's slightly... protected, I guess. Could do some plants down there. Something like that. Just at the beach. Put some, you know, other plants in there. I don't know. We'll just do something to make it look like it's, you know, not just stopping at the water. So something a bit like this. Maybe in a slightly bigger bush. Different tree. And a few more rocks as well. So there we go. Just something a bit like that. And that's going to be our nature reserve that we need to connect to. Right there in Thompson Avenue. This is a bigger island than I thought it was. But I reckon we can do something really interesting with that. I do genuinely think we can do something very interesting with this. Let's see if we can just very, very quickly figure out what way our path's gonna go. I mean, for one, I think it should probably go straight across the island. So it is sort of like, I guess, the backbone of the nature reserve. But I think it should also just follow around the edges of the island. Almost sort of free-forming its way around, just following the shape of everything here. So up to there. And then that way. And then to the peak of the island, which is fine. And then off of over here, we can go like this. And I think we'll just sort of follow the grass a little bit rather than go down onto the beach. Because you can sort of see the beach from the path anyway. And we'll have it go over to here. And then maybe it just meets up with the other bit of path that already exists. Comes down to here. And I think this is going to look... I actually genuinely think this is going to look really good. I really do. We're going to need to do a lot of detailing on it. And honestly, I don't think every little bit of that detailing will be done in the video. Otherwise, the entire video is just going to be, and we're going to put this here, and we're going to put this here. And believe me, I'm well aware that I have a bit of an issue with constantly going, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. I'm well aware of that. People have pointed it out many times over the years. But looking at this, I'm actually really not happy with that straight road going through there. So we're going to ditch that. And I think we'll just have that looping road for the time being. So let's see here. We have campfire sites, which must be inside a park area or at the roadside. That makes sense. Let's get ourselves a nice big park area here, which unfortunately can't actually snap to park roads. Which means this is going to be free-formed, which is terrifying. I guess technically speaking, we need to extend Briar Rows here. I was building a completely new park there. So there we go. We'll just extend this all the way down and around the island. There we go. And we'll extend it up along the coast. Trying to roughly follow the shape of the island. It would be nice if this tool snapped to the park paths, but apparently that's not a thing. But there we go. So that's Briar Rose Nature Reserve, which thankfully we can't see that district when we don't have the thing highlighted, because it would look terrible. It would genuinely, like, that just does not look good from here, but I think it's a really cool idea. I genuinely really love the idea of having the only way to access that island be via footbridge. I think that's really cool. So let's see what we can do here. We have some tents. We have our campfire sites and all that stuff. Looks like we're going to have like viewing decks and tent camping sites and lookout towers and all that kind of stuff. What do we need for that? Have a level 3. Okay, so we need it to get higher level. That's fine. All right. Let's say that we actually go ahead and have a little bit of a path coming off of here. And this is going to be our first camping site for the area. I think that'll work. So let's come off of here and go to... Can I get this to go like 5 units? And we'll just make a little circle. And this is sort of going to be like our basic camping site. So it's kind of right there in the middle, nice and safe. You know, there's going to be no elephants that are going to sneak up on you the way elephants are known for sneaking up on people. Campfire site right in the middle. Actually does need road access. That's frustrating. Campfire site right there at the end of the road then. And I guess just a bunch of tents around that. Just a bunch of different types of tents. Whole way around the circle. Get a nice big tent there. That's obviously, you know, that's someone that's kind of actually, you know what? I was going to say that's an experienced camper. That's a first-time camper that bought the biggest tent they could possibly find. That's what that is. That's someone that's literally never been camping. That's me, by the way. Just to be clear, that's not me taking a dig at anybody. That's me going, you know what? I'm going to take up camping. I feel like I should buy the most expensive tent, because therefore my camping experience will be superior. That's not really how that works, but that would be my line of thought. Just as a general FYI. That would be 110% my line of thought on that. And I'm well aware it's not exactly the right line of thought for something like that, but from experience, I know that would be my line of thought, because oh, look at that. Look at the flames there. I once decided to take up cycling, and in doing so, I bought everything you could possibly need for cycling, including like the Camelback backpack that you put water in. So the backpack that like you put water in it and have like the straw coming over your shoulder, I have one of those. I've actually I've worn that on live streams before. I've never done it while having face cam on, but occasionally on live streams I have a Camelback thing on so that I can just be constantly drinking water. It's actually a really good idea. Like 100%, I'm happy to say that it works. It 100% works. Means you don't have to like go to get water because it's on your back in a backpack. Anyway, there we go. Whole bunch of tents for that campsite. I think the fire looks really neat. I would doubt anyone would come out here because obviously they currently can't. But we need to figure out how we're getting them there. And then when we get them there, that's when we're probably going to go ahead and wrap up this episode because I realize it's going on a little bit. So we'll run this out to here and we'll run this back. Then we're basically going to just run this entire road up to about there. We can change all of those crossings into avenues, even though they're not necessary just yet. And then for here, I guess what we could do is something like this. So that would go to about there. And we want to come up with a way to connect this all together. So I guess that and that. And that looks to me fairly even. It's not perfect, but it looks fairly even, so I think I'll allow it. Then what we'll do is come over to here. Actually, let's just connect these directly. And then we'll come in here and just sort of go back on them a little bit. So, something like that. Something like that. Demolish those bits, and let's get a nice curve in there. There we go. So I think that'll work. Looks a bit weird. This is kind of like a highway thing to do. Not too happy about it, but it does give us a connection over to this thing, which is kind of what we were going for. So that's fine. That is totally fine. Let's bring the water over to this as well. So I think up to about there and to about there. So yeah, there we go. This thing is now technically active. As a nature reserve, I mean, I'm not really sure what we'll do with it. I don't want to rename it. It's $10 to get in. It's $168 in expenses. And I mean, it's pretty sizable. It's got pretty high attractiveness as well, so hopefully we can do something with that. Let's have it be our main park. Let's advertise it. Let's have night tours. Let's have, well, there's no point having even more fun. Let's recycle our garbage as well. So that's going to be our nature reserve. I'd be really surprised if anyone actually goes to it, given that it is so far away. But you never know. City Skylines has surprised me in the past, so maybe we'll see someone head out there. Maybe. I think that's a pretty big maybe, but you just never know. You just never know with this game. You really don't. But either way, I think that looks kind of neat. I've also just discovered that pressing X zooms out and pressing Z zooms in. I did not know that. Why am I discovering so many new things in this game that I've played for almost 2,000 hours? I don't know if that's a good thing. I'm really not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but well, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we can probably go ahead and leave it there for today. What is this? It is an antelope. Okay. I think we can go ahead and leave it there for today. We are gonna need to get people into that nature reserve. I'm not entirely sure how we're gonna do it, but we need to do it because it's there and, you know, it's gonna serve a purpose. It's gonna be our big park. And at some point, we're gonna have to make it look beautiful. Because, I mean, one thing we can do that I should probably point out is we can use a lot of new rocks and, like, we have caves as well. Like, this literally has a cave in it. So we can, like, use these to make sort of, like, cliff faces almost. And we have, like, spires and, like, actual cliffs here. So what we could really do is go around and make the whole island look like it has cliffs on it. Which, I'll be honest, I think looks kind of neat. Like, I think that looks kind of cool. And then if we went and threw like a couple of spires in there and like a plateau thing, I definitely want to play with the caves. I 100% want to play with the caves. I think that's really cool. But we'll see. We'll see what we do with that. I think goal number 1 is going to be to actually get people out here. Because right now, it's a long walk. It is a very long walk for people to take, and no one actually... Oh, wow. We have a tourist. We actually have someone walking out there. Okay. That was unexpected. We have someone else showing up now. Alrighty. Okay, I'll take it. We have people going to the nature reserve. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you kind of for watching. It's been my pleasure, as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.